Welcome. Today we're going to focus on strengthening the back and the core. So we're going to start on our hands and knees. If you need to specifically warm up your wrists before you come on your hands and knees, then you might want to pause the video to do that. Otherwise, we're going to come with our shoulders over our wrists and our knees underneath the hips. And as always, we're going to press up and away from the floor. We're going to find our neutral spine. Doing a couple pelvic tilts here to find neutral. Feeling that connection across the front of the body from the ribs to the pelvis. And feeling my arms working already by lifting my chest away from the floor. And then we're going to do a bit of a circle. So we're going to circle our body back around. So I'm going clockwise. So this is a bit of a wrist warm up in itself. You can also do a non-weight bearing wrist warm up, just wrist circles, as we've done in the past. So one more time, we're going to go clockwise. Coming back to where we started from. And then we're going to reverse it. Try to maintain the chest away from the floor and that neutral spine. Just circling over our knees and over the wrists. Going counterclockwise, breathing in for half the circle and then breathing out. So you can make the circle as big as you like, especially on the way forward. Just wanting to be respecting what you feel at the wrists. One more time here. And then we're going to come back to neutral. I'm just going to move back a little bit here. So still in our nice strong Pilates hands and knees position, we're going to float the left arm up by our left ear with the thumb pointing up. And we're going to circle that arm out to the left hip, thumb pointing down. And then we're going to circle it back forward. We're going to lift the right leg, press away from the floor with that right arm. We're going to go knee to elbow in the center. And then we're going to reach it out. Lower it down, and then bring the hand and the knee in. And then we're going to switch sides. So right arm goes out in front. We're going to try not to shift all our weight to the left. We're back onto our knees. We're going to circle that arm out to the side of the right hip, thumb down, and then we're going to circle it back forward. We're going to lift the left leg. We're going to go knee to elbow. Inhale as you reach out. And then exhale to lower and come back to center. Again on the left arm, circles to the side, circles forward. We lift the right leg. We round the spine as we go knee to elbow. Neutral spine as we reach back out. We lower and release. Right side again. Whoops, just the right arm to the hip. I'm trying to be really careful not to shift all my weight to the left and keeping weight through that left arm. I'm going to try to keep my pelvis level as I lift the left leg. Knee to elbow, reach, lower, come back down. Let's go one more time each side. Doing this on the humidest day ever, sweating already. Here we go, knee to elbow. We reach and lower down. Last one. One more time with the reach, and then we lower. So to give our wrists a break, we're going to come down onto our forearms. You can have the forearms parallel or hands clasped in the center. We want our knees to still be underneath our hips, and we're not in this rounded position here. We're also not collapsing completely down. So we're finding a neutral in this position. And we're still pressing into our arms to lift our chest up so we're not caving down towards the floor. We're going to stretch the right leg out, and we're going to lift up and down, keeping the toes pointed to the floor. drawing in those lower ribs and trying not to rotate through the pelvis. So imagining we've got a tray of cold drinks for afterwards across the pelvis, and we're really trying not to tip them over. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to slide that right foot off the right end of the mat, or to the edge of the mat, depending on the width of your mat. We're going to lift it up and over to the left, so creating an arc, up and over to the right. And we're going to keep going back and forth, trying to keep our weight centered. Both arms, across both arms. Making sure it does look like an arc, not just a straight line. Let's go 4 more. We'll count each one as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we bring that knee in. We'll take our weight off our arms just for a moment. So off the shoulders in this case. And we'll come forward again and we'll set things up for the other side. So we'll stretch the left leg out. Make sure pelvis is level to begin with. Our lower ribs are drawn in. Toes pointing to the ground. We're lifting left leg up and down. Try to keep our weight balanced. Space between the ears and the shoulders. Find your breath here. Here we go, 4, 3, keep your focus, 2, and 1. And then we slide that left foot off the left side of the mat. We center our weight if we need to. And then we lift up and over to the right. Up and over to the left. Just making sure my head is not dropping down below my chest. And then I'm using my core with this exercise, with every exercise. Here we go, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We bring the knee in, we sit back into a child's pose for a moment. 2 breaths here. And then we press forward and we're going to come down onto our stomachs. So you want to have space in front of you for your arms to be lengthened out, and then space to the sides so you can circle your arms up to the sides. So we'll start with the arms parallel or in a Y shape depending on how your shoulders feel. Legs are nice and long down the end of your mat. You can just have your head floating off the floor with the crown of the head reaching forward. We're going to start by pressing the pelvis into the floor, bringing in the core. We're going to float both arms off the floor if we can. We're going to circle the arms to the hips. The thumbs will point down. We're going to slightly lift our chest and our gaze, not necessarily to the top of your mat, but a little bit in front of you. And then we're going to circle the arms forward again, lower them, and then let your head just float off a little bit off the mat here. So pelvis presses down, core is switched on. We're going to lift the arms even just a little bit. We're going to circle them down to the hips. We're going to lift the chest, lift our gaze. Don't have to lift high. You don't really want to feel it in the lower back too much. And then we're going to circle the arms forward, down, and draw the chin down to the throat again. So let's go 3 more times. Press the pelvis down, lift your arms, circle down to the hips, lift the chest, shoulders squeezing together, shoulder blades, circle forward and down. 2 more. Prepare and lift. And lift the chest and the gaze. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Circle forward, down. And letting the head float. 1 more time. Lifting up. Making sure we're breathing here. Coming forward and down. We're going to press ourselves out of this position. Coming onto the hands and knees, and we're going to come onto one side, onto one elbow. Situating that elbow underneath your shoulder, getting the legs stacked in that clamshell position. We're going to straighten the top leg. We're going to lift the top arm. We're going to make sure we're pressing out of that shoulder and the pelvis is rotated forward. So we're going to lift the leg, and then we're going to do a little crunch as we bring the knee to the elbow. And then we're going to reach it out. You can either lower the leg if you need to or keep it floating for an extra challenge. We're going to crunch. Inhale as we reach out. Exhale to crunch. Inhale to reach. Exhale to crunch. Inhale, reach. Let's go 4 more. 3. Press out of that the bottom shoulder, I should say. It's my left shoulder in this case, 2. And 1. We lower the leg, we press ourselves up, and we'll go ahead and switch it straight to the other side. So elbow under shoulder, top arm lifts up, top leg stretches out. We breathe in, lift the leg, exhale, crunch, inhale, reach. So I'm just making sure that I don't drop into that bottom shoulder and that my pelvis stays facing forward. Obviously when I'm in the crunch, it rolls back a little bit, but once I come back to the start position, my pelvis faces forward again. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Lower the leg, lower the arm. We'll swing ourselves around and come onto our backs. Finishing on our backs today with a little bit more core. So let's find our neutral spine. Allowing the legs to rest on the floor, the feet on the floor. And then on an exhale, we're going to tip into our imprint. So allowing the lower back to come in contact with the floor. I'm just going to go back and forth a few times. So inhale, we're going to come to neutral. Exhale into our imprint. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, imprint. Slow motion here. I'll go 3 more times. Last one. We'll stay in our imprint. We'll inhale, we'll float the right leg up. Exhale, we'll float the left leg up. Maintain our imprint and lift our arms. So we're going to do our dead bug exercise, the opposite arm and leg reach here with a bit of a hold. So right arm, left leg, hold in the extended position, and then return. So inhale, exhale to return. So it's a bit of a longer inhale in order to maintain the hold without holding your breath. So if you need to take an additional breath, you can, of course. And we're trying to keep our back against the floor here. Just need to adjust my shorts here. So keep going side to side with a bit of a hold. Try not to rest your arm on the floor as it goes back. If you need to make it a little bit easier, you can, but for the challenge, we want our arm to be floating. So we're going to do 6 more to finish. 4. I've changed my breathing here a little bit. I'm exhaling as I reach. Last 2. And last 1. Okay, we'll keep the arms and legs in that start position. We can bring the legs together for this one. And we want to imagine, let's say, a dowel across underneath our knees that we're trying to hold it in place for this exercise, and then maybe holding a light box with our hands. Just imagining that. Back is against the floor. So we're going to move the arms and legs away from each other, only as far as the back doesn't come off the floor. So it's as if we're going to tap our toes and reach our thumbs back to the floor. As soon as we feel our back coming off the floor, we start the return back to the center. Let's go for 3 more here, nice and slow. A little shaky today. 2. And 1. And then we could hug everything in. That's our last exercise. We're going to place the feet back down onto the floor. Come into a comfortable rest position, so you can have the knees bent or legs extended, arms maybe out to the sides, palms up, palms down. So making some choices there as to what's going to be most comfortable. And then maybe closing down the eyes if that feels comfortable as well. So just taking a little rest to finish the class here. Keeping the focus on the breath for the next minute. Just observing what movement happens in the body as you breathe in and as you breathe out. After your next exhale, if your eyes are closed, we're going to open them. We're going to make our way onto one side, pressing ourselves up to a seated position. And we'll just take one breath together in a comfortable seat to finish. We'll take the arms up as we inhale and down as we exhale. All right, I hope you enjoyed that shorter back and core class. I'll see you at the next one.